Have you ever sat in your tree stand and asked yourself, why am I not seeing any deer? Well, I have too, and I want to tell you about a few things that I used to do while hunting that while I thought were helping me, were really mistakes hurting my success. And fixing these things will help you turn hunts like this into hunts like this.
Is he down?
You know how right before you're going out in the morning, maybe in the first day of rifle season or the weekend before, and you're trying to figure out what spot you want to hunt. Where do you think I should go tomorrow? I'm not really sure. Oh, get out. Well, you know, opening morning back in 1995, Granddad Harry, he shot a big buck. You know, if you go up in the backfield, back in the right corner, there's a big white pine. Well, pine's dead now. You go up there and there's a rock pile, and if you climb up on the rock pile and go down over the hill, there's a little rise, and if you sit right on that rise, that's right where he shot that big buck in 1995. Might not be a bad spot to sit tomorrow. And that's mistake number one, hunting a spot just because somebody shot a deer there 30 years ago. I will say where that can ring true is on things like deer drives, where deer historically will use the same paths to escape, but things change in the woods year to year. Food sources, maybe your neighbor logged a section off, maybe they planted corn instead of soybeans, maybe there's acorns this year. There's a whole list of things that change year to year that will change where the deer are at. So you really need to go out and scout every year, and once you've done your scouting and you found that perfect spot, deer path like crazy right there, all you got to do is hunt there as many times as you can, and you're gonna kill one. A lot of times we hunt deer by patterning them. They come into this field at 5 o'clock, they go to bed by 7 a.m., etc., etc. Well, deer do the same thing to predators. Deer can pattern us. They do not want to die, and they're very good at not being killed by us. For instance, I have this nice little food plot, and it's a honey hole. I've shot 2 bucks there in the last couple years, but the number one mistake I can have is hunting there too much. Once I hunt there 1 or 2 times, the bucks stop coming out. Even if you haven't seen any deer on that hunt, a deer that comes by 2 hours later can smell your tracks going to and from your stand and know that you were hunting there. It's a lot harder to hunt a crappy hunting area than a good hunting area. And a lot of whitetail hunters will only ever hunt a small little area because it's a spot they've always hunted. People never branch out and look for better hunting areas. And I'm the type of person that the grass is always greener, so I'm always looking for new spots, new places to hunt, because I think there's always going to be more deer. And what I will tell you is there's spots that are easy to hunt, and there's spots that are hard to hunt. And if you are really trying to up your odds, go out, try to get permission. And properties can be easier to hunt for a number of reasons. Maybe they're just easier to hunt from a terrain aspect. Stuff's really broken up. The deer are very easy to pattern. Maybe there's a lot more deer than where you're already hunting. I'd just say if you're having difficulty not seeing any deer where you're hunting, don't hunt there just because that's where you always have. Branch out and look for new places. Mistake number 3 is hunting with old, outdated equipment and the wrong camo. You really need to spend and cough up the thousands of dollars for a brand new bow, rifle, brand new camo, brand new calls, the latest and greatest climber tree stand. Everything you can think of will really up your odds. What do you think about that, Oak? Don't get me wrong, I love shooting the latest and greatest, best bow on the market. But as much as people like me making videos can try to sell you on stuff like that, you don't need the latest and greatest stuff to kill deer. Hunting is all about being in the right place at the right time. You can hunt with a rifle that's 100 years old, and you're still gonna be able to have great, awesome hunts. And if you don't care about those things, maybe even a little better, more fun hunt. Another thing I used to always do is not understand that I was scaring deer that I didn't see. And then I would wonder why they disappeared, why they wouldn't come out. Why are they so spooky? Right behind my house is this giant field. And if I told you to go look for deer in that right now, us humans would have to rely on our eyesight. But what if I gave you a thermal imaging camera where you could see out in front of you 100, 200, 400 yards and detect deer out that far based off something other than visible light? Well, deer have that, and it's called their sense of smell. And if you have a tree stand on a hill and your wind is blowing down that hill and a buck walks 200 yards below you where you'd never see him, he can smell you and know that you're hunting up there. Not to mention, I didn't even know what the wind was when I was younger. I would always wonder, how are the deer detecting me? They can't really smell that good. Well, they can. And if you're not hunting the wind, you're really doing yourself a disservice. If you have any other tips, drop them in the comments. I'm sure people would love to read them, and I would too.